In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network. Welcome to Opinion Nation.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal.
I, too, am America.
Now here's your host, Bryce Robbins.
Hello, everybody, and today is a beautiful, cloudy but sunny at the same time Saturday morning from New Jersey, the smelliest, delicious, and most Italian part of America. And I'm glad to be here with you today to talk about a lot of things that have happened in the news lately. So, since last week, not much has actually changed. I kind of was just joking before. The world is still in angst and slowly falling apart. The Democratic Party is still bowing to Hillary Clinton. The Republican Party is still, well, I don't know what the Republican Party is doing. But I did find one funny thing that really made my week very happy, so I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
What does the email scandal say about your ability to handle other crises as president?
Well, Coop, I welcome this question because I rehearsed this one the longest.
You know what? Can I just jump in here? This may not be great politics, but I think the American people are sick and tired about hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Bernie. God, it must be fun to scream and cuss in public. I have to do all mine into tiny little jars.
Hey, what's What's the deal with emails anyway? I forgot my password the other day, so they say, we'll email you a new one. But I can't get into my email. Forgot the password.
So that was one of the clips of Bernie Sanders, and actually it made me laugh. I'm actually going to play you another one here. This is a little bit longer. I'm just going to play the beginning of it. It addresses all the candidates, and it's worth a listen. So here we go.
The 2016 campaign. I'm your moderator, Anderson Cooper, and I hope I do you proud tonight, Kathy Griffin. Let's meet the candidates. First up, former governor of Maryland, Martin O'Malley.
Hello, I'm Martin O'Malley. This is what my voice sounds like. This is what my face looks like. When I was mayor of Baltimore, I did such a good job, they made 2 TV shows about my city, Homicide and The Wire.
Former Rhode Island governor, Lincoln Chafee.
Hey everyone, I'm Lincoln Chafee. I used to be senator. That was fun. And now I'm here. This is fun too.
Former U.S. Senator Jim Webb.
That's Alec Baldwin, by the way, as Jim Webb.
Hello, I'm Jim Webb, and it's about damn time I get to talk. What has it been, 1,000 years? Here's the deal. I fought in Vietnam, and I'm not going to brag about how much ass I kicked, but let's just say I kicked every single ass.
And now that we've met those people, let's bring out the real candidates.
Which is pretty much how it really was.
Hillary Clinton.
Thank you for having me. I think you're really going to like the Hillary Clinton that my team and I have created for this debate. She's warm but strong, flawed yet perfect, relaxed but racing full speed toward the White House like the T-1000 from Terminator.
And from the state of Vermont, Senator Bernie Sanders. Hello.
Enough with the hellos. Let's do this.
Senator Sanders, how are you?
I'm good. I'm hungry, but I'm good. And now, if you don't mind, I'm going to dial it right up to a 10.
Go right ahead.
We're doomed. We need a revolution. Millions of people on the streets. And we got to do something. And we got to do it now. Yeah.
Bernie, pace yourself. Now, Bert, before we begin, we at CNN want to say a quick word to Vice President Joe Biden. Joe, if you decide to run at any time tonight, we will happily make room for you on the stage. No pressure, but we'd love to have you. Wouldn't we?
So that was basically the debate in a nutshell. And SNL, I feel, did a pretty good job at encompassing what happened. I definitely enjoyed that clip. And Bernie Sanders looks like a skinnier Bernie Sanders. And coming from somebody who is Jewish, I could say Bernie Sanders is the stereotype. Larry David does a wonderful job encompassing that and making that apparent in his comedy bit. And I really encourage you guys to all watch the SNL clip. It is actually really, really funny. For the first time, I actually laughed at SNL since, the Sarah Palin clips, which, as I become more and more right-wing as a result of Rick's corruption of my youth, I realize, and as was evident in the last episode, that I can admit that Sarah Palin was right, and so was Mitt Romney about Russia. And as I say that, I want to excuse myself to go vomit, because that to me is, well, odd of me to say. So, ew to that. It is actually really weird to think that I'm agreeing with them. As I stated, I'm having my own epiphanies. Oh well. Anyways, next I actually wanted to talk to you about another thing that happened in the debate was when Martin O'Malley kind of got a little testy with Bernie Sanders. It was kind of interesting. It was about gun control. Now, let me put this in context for you. Martin O'Malley was the governor of Maryland. And under his watch, well, I would say we had a bubble of crime and of, the bad side of Baltimore fueling up. And when he left, we saw the city of Baltimore literally burn to the ground, and we had a problem. And I think it was because of his right-wing tactics on policing. He's very tough on crime. But here's this clip of them talking about gun control. So let's have a listen to this. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Benghazi and then the Chafester.
Look, it's fine to talk about all of these things, and I'm glad we're talking about these things, but I've actually done them. We passed comprehensive gun safety legislation, not by looking at the pollings or looking at what the polls said. We actually did it. And Anderson, here tonight in our audience, are two people that make this issue very, very real. Sandy and Lonnie Phillips are here from Colorado. And their daughter, Jessie, was one of those who lost their lives in that awful mass shooting in Aurora. Now, to try to transform their grief, they went to court, where sometimes progress does happen when you file in.
Oh, we have a buffer. Wow, haven't had that in a while.
They went to court, where sometimes progress does happen when you file in.
Well, this clip seems to be constantly freezing, and I don't know why, so I guess we'll just move on. Anyways, he basically tells a sob story about this family whose child was killed. And he goes back and forth pointing out how Bernie Sanders is loose on gun control. He didn't sign the Toomey Act. He was against, background checks or whatever. And in all reality, he's not. And I didn't like how Martin O'Malley portrayed Bernie Sanders for his own political gain, just so he could, in a sense, prop himself up on Bernie Sanders, I guess, positioning. Even though they're from two different states, they have two different jobs. One's a senator, one's a governor, failed governor, might I add. But I did feel that Martin O'Malley did come away a victor in this debate. I mean, again, he's still at less than 1%, but I think he got to make himself look a little good in the end. Tired. Anyways, this week, of course, we have to talk about two primary topics. We have to talk about Lincoln Chafee dropping out. We have to talk about Benghazi, of course. And before I do that, I'm going to bring up the interesting topic of Back to the Future. And I wish Dave was here to talk about this with me because, he's my movie guy. But it was very interesting how the Cubs were said to win the World Series. Of course they didn't. And I saw an interesting clip about the Back to the Future Day, all the things we actually do have now. But an interesting thing that was kind of Back to the Future-like and had nothing to actually do with the movie was how in the last time the Cubs won the World Series, which I believe was 1903 or 08. When they won the World Series, excuse me. The curse of the Billy Goat began. And the goat's name was Murphy. So the backstory is somebody brought a goat to the World Series. And that goat cursed the Cubs. Since that goat was brought to the game, they lost all their games in the World Series. And never made it back. Now, the scary part is, on the Mets, Daniel Murphy, last name Murphy, like the GOAT, hit 5 home runs against the Cubs, obviously propelling the Mets to the World Series and making my area, because I live 5 minutes away from New York, quite interesting and flooded with bandwagon Mets fans. But, I mean, that was a little eerie, especially with the whole Back to the Future type day coming around. I thought that was interesting and worth to share. All right, so now we're going to talk about Lincoln Chafee. And, to be quite honest, and I've said this before, and I don't think I've really been able to express this position quite well, but I think Lincoln Chafee is a man who definitely understands politics, and he understands analytics, and he understands, the science behind making good, smart deals. His position was prosperity through peace. And to me, I got the impression that this man has no backbone and that he could never be the strong leader America needs. And I agree with that. But what I don't agree with is that Lincoln Chafee is not White House material in the sense that he could be in a cabinet. And I think he'd be a wonderful cabinet member. I mean, I don't know at what position, but perhaps an advisor to the president. I mean, Lincoln Chafee's positioning on all the issues, very smart. I mean, the man understands the numbers. He's a smart guy. He was on, whose show was it? It was Hannity. And he was asked about the numbers. He can't speak well. He really can't. But he can run the numbers in his head and he can compute and calculate. And I fear that that is why he didn't win. Because his public speaking performance. Not what was on the inside, not the knowledge on the inside. Which is kind of interesting. I think he's a very brilliant man. And I think that it's a shame he has yet to come on my show as a result of, his scheduler who never seems to get back to me. But hey, I think he's going to have some free time now that he's not running for president. So why don't we actually have a listen to Lincoln Chafee's dropout here? Even though, like, just a week ago he said he was in it for the long haul. Here we go. Lincoln Chafee's dropping out.
Now, as you may know, I've been campaigning on a platform of prosperity through peace. But after much thought, I have decided to end my campaign for the president today. Thank you. But I would like to take this opportunity one last time to advocate for a chance to be given to peace. Since today is all about women's leadership, it reminds me of one of my favorite Greek plays, Lysistrata, a comedy from 400 BC by Aristophanes. Now, in that play, a group of women, fed up with the warmongering of their husbands, agree to, and how do I say this appropriately, withhold their favors until peace returns. And it worked. They ended the Peloponnesian Wars. Well, anyway, let's talk about the present. Studies show that women tend to lead differently than men, and that women are more likely to be collaborative and team-oriented. It is undeniable the benefits women provide to the pursuit of peace. Now, when I was a senator, a general from the Pentagon testified before the Foreign Relations Committee on global military powers. And I asked him, who was second to the United States in military might? And he thought for a bit, and then he said, probably the UK. Now, yes, that was a few years ago, but the point remains true. No real rival to the United States exists when it comes to total weaponry. Now, we make Virginia-class submarines in Rhode Island, and I've been on an overnight patrol. What a phenomenal piece of technology and craftsmanship. A machine bristling with the most advanced power imaginable. And submarines are just one instrument in our staggeringly efficient arsenal of war. And yet, we are sinking ever deeper and deeper into an endless morass in the Middle East and North Africa. People keep dying and peace seems further and further away. It's evident that all this military power isn't working for us right now.
You see, I agree with that. We have all this military power and all of our military might. We have nuclear submarines, we have missile defense systems. We have the technology to prevent 10,000 missiles from raining down on Israel with the Iron Dome. We have F-35s, which can take off like helicopters and land like helicopters and fly faster than the speed of sound. We have cruise missiles and all types of weapons, M16s and whatnot, night vision goggles and, amphibious machines that can go from water to land, hovercrafts or whatever the freak you want to call them. And at the end of the day, we spend billions and billions of dollars on our military. And America has the highest rate of childhood poverty. The Middle East is in shambles. Russia's walking all over everybody. Now, I don't know. Is it just a nice thought to think, Lincoln Chafee's idea of prosperity through peace would work? I don't know. I honestly think that we need to, of course, have a strong military, the strongest military. And I think Lincoln Chafee agrees with that. And I, again, extend this as an invitation for him to come on my show, as we've offered numerous times. But I honestly believe in the idea of prosperity through strength. Reagan type idea, where we have such a strong military, as Donald Trump once said, that nobody would bother us. And it's not necessarily that people are bothering us, but it's that they're bothering liberty and democracy for those around the world. The world is not peaceful. The world is not in a peaceful place. And the United States, with its military might, has done little to stop it. I think we should take a historical lesson here and go back to Dwight D. Eisenhower's warning us against the military-industrial complex, where we produce all this military might and we're not using it for the right reasons. We trade billions of dollars worth of hardware. I'm talking Apache helicopters to Bahrain and F-16s to Saudi Arabia. We trade so much military technology to all these autocratic dictators and leaders in the Middle East, to whom use them to then suppress their people and prevent liberty and prevent freedom and ultimately prevent peace. So my problem here is not so much that Lincoln Chafee's ideas are wrong. I just don't think that he necessarily gets the point of you can't have peace if you don't have strength. But then he acknowledges we have strength. But he acknowledges also that we misuse it by, dealing it to other countries. And for whatever reason, it's just not working. And I think at some point, the American people have to realize that what we are doing is not working. The world does not respect us. The world does not admire us or revere us, and I fear as though they used to, and they do not anymore. The United States needs a powerful leader who can get us back to that point. Now, Donald Trump, I don't think is that leader. And I'm scared that he might get that nomination. I mean, he's probably the person I would vote for the most if I had to vote for a Republican. But it's really a shame that America is no longer respected in the international community. China devalues their dollar and plays us like a joke. Russia, we look like a joke. So we really need to ask ourselves in this next election. I mean, we're literally picking right now between the shiniest of the shits, and we are stuck in really a no man's land. Who to pick to represent the United States? You see, the good thing about Kennedy, even though he didn't do anything, was that he had charisma and he was good looking. Bernie Sanders isn't good looking. Martin O'Malley has no charisma. The Republicans are all terribly stupid. I mean, let me be 100% clear. Marco Rubio, if he wanted to win the presidency, and I think he can, and I think he could. Actually, I don't think he can. I think he could. If he was a social liberal and a fiscal conservative, and I think he would win hands down. I think Marco Rubio would be the next president of the United States. And his comments on abortion turned off so many people who would have voted for him. Interesting. And to be quite honest, the United States is moving more and more liberal towards my side of the aisle every day. I mean, we're at the point where, what's his name? His name escapes me at the moment. Al Gore's running mate. Let's see. I'm looking it up right now. Why is his name escaping me? Joseph Lieberman. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I forgot his name. Where Joseph Lieberman once was the vice presidential candidate is now a Republican because the party has moved so left. And I think the people in this country are moving left. Now, this is to Rick's detriment, and this is his, being upset. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think the country loses aspects of the good from the right, the whole idea of strength and power. We haven't really found a good place in the middle as of late, so that pretty much, could bother anybody. All right, I'm going to go to break, and when I come back, we're going to talk a lot about Benghazi, a lot about Hillary, and we'll probably wrap it up with that. All right,
Speaking of Hillary, she found a good place in the middle.
I'm sorry?
I said, speaking of Hillary, remember, she did find a good place in the middle.
Rick, you disgust me, but I'll mention that disgusting joke when we get back. Dear God. All right, I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hungover from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
Wake up, America.
The biggest threat in those days were from factions seizing control of the governing apparatus and making decisions that were in their interests. Today, we call factions political parties. George Washington himself warned the nation about the dangers of factions in his farewell address.
Office hours with Dr. A, 3 p.m. on Sundays, K98 Talk. We've got something to say to you, America.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
Alright, welcome back. I'm Bryce Robbins, and this is Opinion Nation, and today we are going to be, well, talking a little bit about Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton's, Benghazi hearings. So I'm going to start off by playing her opening statement so we can kind of get in the mood of Benghazi.
The terrorist attacks at our diplomatic compound, and later, the honor.
Why are all these videos buffering? It is literally bothering me. Oh, Lord. Alright. Well, anyways, we hear Hillary Clinton give her opening statements, and I'm going to try to pull them back up again and see if it works. You know, technology doesn't work for me. I swear to God, I'm the only millennial where technology doesn't work. Alright, here we go.
Attacks at our diplomatic compound, and later at the CIA post in Benghazi, Libya, on September 11th, 2012. Took the lives of 4 brave Americans, Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Glenn Doherty, and Tyrone Woods. I'm here to honor the service of those 4 men, the courage of the Diplomatic Security Agency and the CIA officers who risked their lives that night, and the work their colleagues do every single day all over the world. I knew and admired Chris Stevens. He was one of our nation's most accomplished diplomats.
Okay, so that was a clip from the New York Times of Hillary Clinton's opening statements. And I genuinely feel as though Hillary Clinton is just doing this to preserve herself. So I found this interesting clip the other day. Hillary versus Hillary. And it's going to go back and forth between Hillary Clinton's original Benghazi hearings to now. So let's have a listen.
To lead and the responsibility to support nearly 70,000 diplomats and development experts across the globe. Losing any one of them, as we did in Iraq, Afghanistan, Mexico, Haiti, and Libya, during my tenure was deeply painful. I took responsibility. We've seen the heavy assault on our post in Benghazi that took the lives of those brave men. To address the video circulating on the internet that has led to these protests. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video dangerous assault on our embassy in Cairo that same day, which was clearly linked to that video. Internet video that we had nothing to do with. But what the intelligence community said was spontaneous protests that we had nothing to do with.
She's lying. She's absolutely lying.
So I was trying to make sense of it. And, to be clear, it is, from my perspective, less important today, looking backwards, as to why these militants decided they did it. We can't say that everybody was influenced, and we can't say everybody wasn't.
She told me something entirely different at the casket ceremony. She said it was the cause of the video, and that she would get back to me and tell me what happened with my son.
I took responsibility.
A simple phone call to those evacuees to determine what happened would have ascertained immediately that there was no protest and easily obtained.
Well, but I took responsibility.
We were misled that there was supposedly protests and then something sprang out of that, an assault sprang out of that. That was not the fact.
But
and the American people could have known that within days.
I took responsibility.
And they didn't know that.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? I took responsibility. What difference at this point does it make?
She's lying.
I took responsibility.
All right, we get the point. I got sidetracked from Hillary Clinton and my topic on her. So as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, anyways. So Hillary Clinton, her scandal's unacceptable. And if Bernie Sanders really wants to have a serious jab at the presidency, he really needs to point this out. It's not serious. I know he said enough about your damn emails to take the high road, but I don't think that was a good move. I think he could have said enough about your damn emails. Your day in court's gonna come, or it might come. But you need to talk about the issues. But you know what? That is an issue. Hillary Clinton's email scandal is an issue. It is a terrible issue, actually, because she's lying. I don't like liars. Liars are terrible people. And if you lie, and you lie to the American people, #Bill, then you end up in trouble. And I think that's what's going to happen to Hillary. I don't think she's qualified to be president. I think she wants to do it for the fun of it. If you want to be president, you should have the genuine goal to change something for the better, not to attain power. I think that's the difference between great presidents and a president. Is that one who is in there because they want to make this country a better place. Those who want to bring better life to the people who inhabit the country and the world are the greatest presidents. And those who seek the presidency only for power, position, and title, as so many do, are the worst. And I feel almost as definite that is Hillary Clinton's motive to be the president of the United States, just for the sheer political power, stronghold, her career, her wealth. I don't really see any other reason behind her doing it other than that she wants to sit in the White House behind a desk and feel as though she is the most powerful woman in the world. Which scares me. And it scares me that Hollywood is getting behind her. If you watch Trevor Noah on The Daily Show, to whom I believe is doing a terrible job. He's not Jon Stewart. He's not even close to filling his shoes. And I haven't even watched The Daily Show as of late because of him. Is also staunchly supportive of Hillary Clinton. And to be quite honest, as I always say, how can you be in support of Hillary Clinton? I mean, we heard Obama talk about trade deals, and he was against the trade deals like the TPP, and he was against free trade and whatnot, and he was against, military action and trading weapons, and under him, all of this crap has gotten more and more and more. And under his watch, we've seen more and more and more laws and, bills passed or executive orders that go against what he said and go for the corporations and the big businesses. And what scares me most is if you look at Hillary Clinton's donators and her campaign funders and contributors, they're the same freaking people. look, I am going to say this quite simply. Bush was an extension of Bill. Obama is an extension of Bush. Clinton will be an extension of Obama. We really haven't had much change in the White House from Bill Clinton down. Bill Clinton was emulated pretty well by Bush. Bush was emulated pretty well by Obama. Obama was emulated emulated pretty well by Clinton. It's the same policies, the same type of mentalities, and even if you want to say Bush was different, he wasn't. Obama carried out many of the same laws as him. Let's not forget. The bailouts, the TARP funds, all Bush's ideas. And what I don't understand, and I think really should serve to both their detriment, is Bush pulled out of Iraq. He was the one who signed the go-ahead in 2011 to get out of Iraq. Obama took the fame for it, and now is taking the flak for it. Because we shouldn't have pulled out of Iraq, because, I mean, let's be real, look at Japan. We were there for 50 years, and now look, they're a great, prosperous nation. We were in Iraq for 13 years, 10 years, something like that. So the notion that we should have pulled out was ridiculous. So that was Bush's fault, but Obama's fault for championing the idea and taking credit for it. I mean, in all reality, when Bernie Sanders says we need a political revolution, I 100% agree with him. That this country needs change, and it needs it now. The constant funding of our campaigns is horrendous and is serving detriment to our democracy and our liberty. The undermining issue in politics these days is money in politics. And I encourage everybody to look up, what's his name? Leslie. Lloyd Leslie? Something like that. He's the Harvard professor. And he's running on the goal, and he actually might make the debate stage because he has more, he's a higher rank in the polls than Martin O'Malley does at 1%, because Martin is at less than 1. And it's actually quite interesting. He's running on the sheer campaign, the sheer law that we need to get money out of politics, and once he does that, he said he would step down. And I think that was interesting. Because we really do need this. It is terrible. There are so many issues in this country, whether it be the military, whether it be communications companies, or giant oil companies, all fund the same campaigns. And then we wonder why we wake up and there's so many problems. It's because money has entered our political system. If we could have a free market without crony capitalism, ensure that people's health is taken care of for those who can't afford it, and ensure that nobody falls through the cracks of poverty, that everybody's fed, that everybody is taken care of, that our environment is kept pristine while business is kept booming, we would live in a perfect world. The sheer fact of the matter is that resources are running out, and we are living in a time where we're about to start to feel the effects of that. And as our country's economic structure is built on growth and constant extraction of resources and development, we need to come to a time where we change fundamentally, where we change to sustainable lives, where economic growth can prosper, but we are not killing our planet. And we need a better healthcare system. Obamacare is a joke. It's a law which is the epitome, the pinnacle of corporate and sponsored backers to campaigns. I mean, the healthcare companies are having a hoot with Obamacare. They love it more than anything. But the sheer fact of the matter is, if you want to get these problems at their roots, it's because laws aren't passed for common senses and morals and ethics anymore. They're passed because some asshole gave $200,000 to this guy's campaign, and that's why he won the congressional seat. So, in the next election, I'll be there for you if you scratch my back. You scratch mine, and I'll scratch yours. And that's what this political system has come to, and unfortunately, that's where it's going to continue heading, and that's why I support Bernie Sanders. Now, I mean, I've already talked about this. I don't agree with the idea of a $15 minimum wage. I agree with maybe a $10 minimum wage. And I agree with Rick that the market should determine wages. But I think this could be driven by placing, I really don't understand why we don't. It has to do with corporations, primarily because they're multinational corporations. Why we don't place tariffs on imports. I mean, to me, we should shut the door to China and stop having them importing all these goods and produce them here. I mean, we live under the assumed notion that manufacturing and jobs in America are dead, and that we can't revitalize them, or else the cost of living will go up too much, and people will pay $1,000 for an iPad and $1 billion for a car, and this, that, and the other thing. But the progression of technology, I mean, I think we can genuinely do this. It's so sad how people just assume the fate of this country, and it's terrible. Because in all reality, we're hearkening back to a time where cheap labor is the cornerstone of our economic system. In the 1950s and 60s, when we lived under the most liberal policies, when we had the least money in our political system, America was the most prosperous. America was the most revered. America was the most productive. We had the best educational system. States were funding colleges. Kids were going to school tuition free or heavily reduced. And we lived without a lot of the problems that we have today. And we still exported more than we imported. Bizarre how this country's changed. And to me, I fear that the root of this problem again is the doors that were opened under Ronald Reagan of Wall Street to Pennsylvania Avenue. It's really just horrendous. And it's not like we weren't warned. Let's be clear here. We were warned. We were warned by Dwight D. Eisenhower about the military-industrial complex. And that was just one example. And the overarching theme of that is money in politics. So, in all reality, we've seen this coming for a while. With Citizens United being passed, we need it to be overturned. Money is the root of all evils, and I believe that is in the Bible somewhere. I really don't know. I'm almost positive it is. But it really is, if you think about it. The corruption and destruction of American democracy and liberty is based on the principle of the notion, essentially, that money is free speech. Corporations have free speech. Undermines the issue of politics, undermines the issue of democracy. I mean, even our founding fathers weren't total, democracy nuts. That's why they implemented the Electoral College, which was essentially them saying they don't trust us, the American people. Quite like how I don't trust Hillary Clinton on Benghazi. But I hope we can see the connection here, the clear correlation between how the world is literally falling apart, and it is just so sad. Oh well, hopefully our liberal policies and liberal discussions and debates on whether it's finding common ground or opinionation can hope to mend the world back together. Alright, I'm Bryce Robbins. You can find me on Twitter at RobbinsBryce. A lot of you have been following me, actually, and tweeting at me, or messaging me on my inbox. So you can find me at RobbinsBryce. That's ROBINSBRYCE. Or you can find us on Facebook at Opinion Nation News or Opinion Nation, whichever page you prefer. And always leave your opinion. Start an argument. If you want to come on the show, just shoot me a message, tweet me, and we'll be sure to have you on. We can have a good debate. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Opinion Nation. My name is Bryce Robbins, and this has been Opinion Nation. Have a good day.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal.
I, too, am America.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.